Howdy mates. Good noontime. How are we all doing? It is Sunday, June 5th, 2022. And as part of today's visit, I'm over revisiting the Marie Selby Botanical Gardens based in downtown Sarasota, which is what you can see just out there in the distance as it goes over the Ringling Bridge. Because the Ringling Bridge that you see out there, that brings you to Lido Key. But then as you look towards that direction, that's when it gets closer to Siesta Key. But you can see, like, out on the Sarasota Bay, a lot of these boats just stay out here just to camp out, basically. That tends to be the common trend. But the Marie Selby Gardens, Botanical Gardens, their main location is in downtown Sarasota. So last Sunday, I went to the historic Spanish Point campus, which is in association with the same company. But now we're just at basically the headquarters, essentially. So really how this place began was, it started back in the early 1920s by Marie and William Selby. So Marie originally came from Marietta, Ohio. How ironic, another Ohioan. Now, Marietta is actually situated just along the Ohio River, kind of based in southeast portion of the state. But her father actually studied geology at a nearby university. And with that being said, the father began an oil drilling company that was actually very successful at the time. And as it turned out, William Selby, the husband, he was actually a partner under Marie's father. And that's essentially how they got to meet. So then they basically eventually got married in 1908. So you fast forward another decade, and basically William had connections down here. He would frequently visit this area to go fishing, especially since that it's a common activity down here. And mind this, they actually traveled cross country. They didn't do this via plane. So they probably did Model T, or maybe even horseback. Difficult to say. But Marie Selby was one of the first recognized individuals, or women, to willingly travel cross country like that. So, they stayed down here for a time, and the husband wanted to hope that Marie would share the same enthusiasm. And the good news is, she did. Give me just a second. So she shared that same enthusiasm, and as it approached into the early 1920s, they actually settled down here. But they actually weren't part of the social scene. They kind of had their own property. And they both had a fascination with the outdoors. So really, they didn't always dress up in formal clothing. I think I can, relate to that in a sense. Because hardly do I ever dress formally. I think the last time I dressed formally was actually for a wedding, which was actually almost a year ago. So, what does that tell you? So, basically, Marie Selby actually had a fascination with gardening in her time, and she was actually one of the charter members of one of the first gardening foundations in the city of Sarasota. So you figure she was a prominent figure down here. So she wanted to make a legacy to basically preserve the natural beauty that is found in Sarasota, which I feel some of that was partially accomplished, but probably not to her fullest extent as she would have wished. So as part of her will, she actually wanted her property to be a designated garden. You know, that was her wish before she would pass. And so, you know, you go into the I think it was like the 1970s. This finally became a designated botanical garden, and it's quite expansive. This particular garden is specialized towards research on mostly tropical plants. So like epiphytes, ferns, orchids, anything you can think of. This place highly protects and researches those groups. So ever since then, this botanical gardens has actually been very successful ever since. Yeah, look at these banyan trees. Oh man. It's my second time ever coming here. So it's quite nice to go for a revisit. And just so you guys know too, if you ever come here, make sure you give yourself plenty of time, because you know there's just so much to see, and it's like it can be overwhelming for your stimuli, in other words your senses, because there's just so much going on all at once. So that's why you want to give yourself time to absorb what it is you're seeing and to interpret that. So in a sense, you know, observing is also a form of art. Yeah. So totally recommend visiting. Usually for adults it's a $25 admission, but those funds go towards the organization to, you know, keep obtaining its mission. So by no means does it just go to one single person. You know, it goes back to the community. So, alrighty. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something of value. And once again, journey on a journey is outwards. Take care, folks. See ya.